So you should not be afraid to use social proof either, because bloody well everyone else is. And you might think that it's complicated, but chances are you're already using it. Good morning. Morning walk episode 44. Thanks for joining me. It's a grey old morning here in Sydney. So a hint of the sunrise coming up over there through the trees. Just as I turn over, you can't see a damn thing. It's like all pink and purple a little bit earlier, which was kind of spectacular. When the rest of the morning is looking kind of steely grey. Anyway, it's a nice time here. It's warm, a little bit humid, and nice and easy to get out and t-shirt and shorts, make the most of this early morning weather. Plenty of rabbits this time of year, which Pixie's absolutely loving. Also spiders. Yes, spiders. I'm very conflicted about spiders, as you may have learned about in episode number 1 of the morning walk. On one hand, I'm like, I think they're the most amazing creatures. And most spiders are alright. Orb weavers. Not a fan of orb weavers. Pixie's hoping to score some rabbit chasing. Yesterday morning I was out for the morning walk, and in my street all the bins were out, for the rubbish truck to come and pick it all up. In our suburb we've actually got 4 different garbage bins. We've got a green one for like leafy green waste. We've got like blue for paper, yellow for all your plastics and aluminium cans and recycling, that sort of stuff. And then you've got your regular trash bin, which has a red lid. And so every week they pick up your trash, and every other week they alternate between one of those other bins. And it's a funny thing, because yesterday coming home, the neighbours across the street had accidentally put out the wrong bin. They must have been the first to actually get their bin out on the road. And everybody else in the street had the yellow bin out, and they had the blue bin out. And it made me think, actually, how many times I come home on rubbish night and don't even think about which bin to put out, but I literally just look at what's going on in the street and who's put their bins out, and just essentially follow suit. And it's this interesting thing which we call social proof. And it's very powerful in psychology, social proof. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that phenomenon where before you go and buy anything on the internet, or anything at all pretty much these days, before you hire any kind of tradesman to do any kind of work, what's the first thing we do now? Well, we jump on Google and go searching for testimonials and reviews from other people. What's interesting about that is that we've got no idea who those people are. We don't know what their agendas are, what their full experience was, what their conditions were as part of the job, or the thing that they were looking for in a product or service. And yet, when we find testimonials, we essentially use that to validate our own choice, or to make our decision. And that's something we need to be a bit cautious about. It kind of makes sense if you think about it from an evolutionary perspective. We grew up like in the desert, on the savannah, essentially in tribes, packs, like hanging together to survive, making sure that you don't eat the purple berry. Don't eat the purple berry, because that purple berry could fucking kill you. So it was all about social proof. All of our knowledge, all of the way that we did things, our habits, our safety, our very existence relied absolutely on the people who were around us. So social proof is completely hardwired into us as human beings. So social proof is incredibly powerful because of that evolutionary background that we've come from. So you have to be a little bit cautious, right? Because it can be manipulated for both good and evil. But definitely if you sort of look out there, people use social proof as part of consumer behavior, trying to get us to buy stuff. It kind of has this place on the customer value journey, we call it, which is that point where we're kind of deciding between different items, or we've sort of decided that maybe we are going to buy something, then suddenly boom, there's this like social proof in our faces, whether it's videos or testimonials, photos, whatever it might be, just outlining what a great experience that people have had with that product and the sort of change that it created for them. And that's the thing, you know, people don't buy products, they buy states of change. You know, you're not buying, I don't know, a new bike. What you're really buying is that experience of going riding and being free and all those individual experiences on the bike. So when you read the testimonials, the best testimonials that leverage things like social proof aren't saying, oh, this bike has got, you know, amazing gears and the Shimano crank set is absolutely amazing. Like, that'll appeal to a certain subset of the market, but it says more things like, you know, since I've had this bike, I've never had such a smooth ride, never been quite so fast, which has made me enjoy my time with my friends even more. And that kind of testimonial, that kind of social proof makes you think about the experience, makes you feel the experience. And it's very persuasive. So always ask yourself the question when you read a testimonial, you know, firstly, is this genuine? And secondly, like, what was the agenda behind the person, or what was the experience for the person that actually wrote that? And is that the same as yours? Because if it's not, that testimonial is kind of useless to you. Another good example of this, before I had kids, I never ever would have dreamed of going to a Club Med, right? You know, all-inclusive family holidays. You know, for me it was all about backpacking and getting out into the world and checking out new places and keeping things kind of dynamic. You know, kids changes everything. And when we were looking at the reviews of Club Med, we were reading about people who had young kids. You know, those testimonials from people who had young kids are the ones that resonated the most with us, because that was the social proof that we were looking for, that this would be a really good option. And actually in the end, it's a fucking good option. All inclusive, it's pretty awesome. Maybe one day I'll end up going on a cruise or something, same thing. All-inclusive holiday. Social proof is also kind of intense. You know, researchers have found that that bird right there is the sound of Sydney summer to me. It's actually a bird from Papua New Guinea that migrates down to Sydney. And you know it's like the summertime here, because those things, pretty bloody loud. There it is again. Touched down here. Can't remember the name of the bird, but they're migratory, as I said. And every year they literally come back to the same tree in order to breed and have their chicks. It's pretty cool, huh? That's something you weren't expecting this morning on the morning walk. Glad I could share that with you. So you should not be afraid to use social proof either, because bloody well everyone else is. And you might think that it's complicated, but chances are you're already using it. If you've ever written a resume or gone for a job and used a reference, that's social proof. If you've ever given or taken a recommendation for a restaurant or for a book or for a movie, that's social proof. And all of that is incredibly persuasive and powerful. So always think about how you can use the examples of other people, the examples of not just humans, but businesses, whatever else in what you do, because it's definitely one of the most powerful elements of persuasion that's out there. Anyway, handful of thoughts for you this morning on the morning walk. Whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a good one. I'm Rob Malicki. I'll see you tomorrow morning.